That win for Liverpool is absolutely huge in the Premier League title race. What a win. What a ridiculous result. Liverpool are mentality monsters. They have got the best belief. They got the best ability to grind through performances, I think, out of Man City and Arsenal in this Premier League title race. It's out of this world. That was a 0-0 written all over it. I think Nottingham Forest defended really, really well. They had the best chances in the game. But Liverpool kept putting the pressure on. Liverpool adjusted with Darwin Núñez coming on and influencing things. And let's be completely real. That goal in the final minute from Darwin Núñez is a potential Premier League title deciding goal. It's absolutely huge. And it's got huge repercussions for Liverpool at the game at Anfield against Man City in a week. It's massive because if Liverpool drop points at Nottingham Forest, one of the worst sides in the league, and then Man City win the Manchester Derby, suddenly everything's in Pep Guardiola's hands. Now, a draw at Anfield against Man City is a huge result for Liverpool and keeps them just above Man City in a big, big way. We're going to talk about my observations from the game. There's quite a few really interesting things to talk about from this performance at the City ground. If you're new to the channel, make sure you subscribe. Would really appreciate that. Obviously, covering all the big action that's coming up in the next few weeks. I'll be covering the Manchester Derby, of course, but that Liverpool City game, oh my days. Oh, I don't know what to say. We've got to just talk about the header itself. Let me know what you think in the comments down below about the Darwin Núñez finish. It was scary good, really. He just missed a header about 5 minutes before that, where he chickened out. He chickened out of a header. I think he thought the keeper was coming out cells, and he blew a header that was 5 yards out, completely wide. It was pretty poor, actually. But this is Darwin Núñez to a T, because he can look so shocking, but his effective ability of just getting things over the line, just scoring little goals this season, he's contributed a lot to this Liverpool side. Obviously, he can't play week in, week out. At the moment, he's come back from a little niggle. Obviously, Liverpool need to rotate with the amount of competitions that they're still in. They're still in the FA Cup. That result against Southampton, so underrated. They've just beaten Chelsea. And they went all the distance in that game as well. So this Liverpool squad are depleted. This Liverpool squad are low on energy. They're high on adrenaline. They're living on vibes at the moment. And they go to a Nottingham Forest side that are much better under Nuno Espirito Santo. Defensively, so robust. At points today, you know, it was like a kind of 4-2-3-1, but basically it's a 4-5-1 from Nottingham Forest. Very, very defensive, very, very flat. Murillo had a fantastic game today. Toffolo as well. Neco Williams, obviously former at Liverpool himself. So that Darwin Núñez opportunity, it was few and far between, really. Gakpo had a few chances. Harvey Elliott had a few chances. But the way Núñez flicks that ball in, the ball from McAllister is absolutely outrageous. He shows a lot of poise, a lot of control. He could have easily tried to hit that back in first time on his right foot, but I think he tucks back in on his other foot and kind of dinks it in at a different angle. And it just gives enough pace on the ball for Darwin Núñez to just flick it in and kind of edge it in without having to do too much. Maybe the trick to Darwin Núñez is just making sure that when you give him the ball, it's a perfect cross. It's kind of weighted perfectly. Obviously, easier said than done, but it's kind of chances, those half chances where he has to put maybe 5-10% more thought into it. That's where they usually go into row Z. If you can just feed him delicate little balls, he will usually take those chances. He scored a lot of goals this season, and he's having an underrated season. What can I say though? I think Nottingham Forest would actually argue, I think Nuno Espirito Santo would argue that they deserved at least a goal from the game, at least to even draw the game, if not win it, for some staunch Nottingham Forest fans. Obviously, it's not how football goes, but they really had some big chances. Callum Hudson-Odoi probably should have done better when he had an opportunity in the final few minutes. But let's be completely real. Nottingham Forest will be a little bit gutted about the lack of chances that they took. Awoniyi was dangerous up front. Morgan Gibbs-White, in the final minute of the game before Núñez scored, had a clearance off the line almost from Virgil van Dijk himself, who was absolutely imperious today. We'll talk about Virgil van Dijk, Konate, and the rest of the outfield players for Liverpool today. But if you made it this far, make sure you give the video a like and obviously subscribe to the channel if you're new. But look, Nottingham Forest blew chances, there's no question about it. They hit Liverpool on the counter, but there was still this underlying air of inevitability, this kind of grinding out wins away from home. Nottingham Forest away from home, especially, as I said before, especially after the League Cup final, especially after the FA Cup, especially with the Europa League on the horizon, all these competitions, fatigue sets in. And this Liverpool side have got serious momentum. I think they've got more momentum than the Man City on some level, who are unbeaten in 18 games, which I know is crazy. But the fact that they're doing it at Wembley, the fact they're doing it in all these cup competitions, it is scary for Arsenal fans and Man City fans. It really is. It alludes to this kind of sending off Jurgen Klopp in a blaze of glory. And we're seeing it. I think every week, Man United fans included, are desperate for something to be, for this kind of Liverpool bubble to burst. And I'm not seeing it. I'm not seeing it. Let's just talk through some of the positives for Liverpool and why I'm not seeing it in particular. From goalkeeper up to the front three, I think the front three would be the most critical I would be of this Liverpool side from the game today. But the goalkeeper has to be talked about. Kelleher has to be talked about because he's now been in this Liverpool side. When Alisson's been out, he's always deputised in a very, very strong fashion. Is he good enough to be Liverpool long-term keeper? It's hard to gauge with a second choice keeper, but he's not that kind of drop-off where there's a lack of leadership or there's a lack of understanding of what it means to be a Liverpool keeper. He is a Liverpool keeper through and through, and he's helping Liverpool in massive moments. His distribution today was fantastic. Shot stopping in big moments today was really, really strong. And Kelleher, this Liverpool side have lost the best keeper in the league, and they don't look any different, and that is down to Kelleher in particular. The back four today for Liverpool, they were exposed at points. No question about it. There was changes to Conor Bradley at points. He was popping actually in between Van Dijk and Konate for a bit and spraying balls around. At right back, I don't think he was easily found out. I thought he was very aggressive going forward as well. Very, very good. Same with Andy Robertson. He had a big chance as well. So I think this back four is really getting stronger. Obviously, they have to adjust to the kind of ins and outs and Joe Gomez of the world and Trent coming back from injury. Of course, Joe Gomez had a bit of a weird hybrid role today, sort of popping into midfield with Bobby Clark. That is never going to be ideal. And if Liverpool win the title with Bobby Clark, with McAllister and Joe Gomez with Szoboszlai coming off the bench in the next few weeks, it's outrageous because Bobby Clark is nowhere near the level to be winning you the Premier League at this stage of the season. With all due respect, he will be. I think he'll be a fantastic talent, and you can use him for 5-10 minutes in games. But the fact he's starting these games, the fact he's playing big moments for Liverpool right now, he's playing miles out of his skin, and that is down to Jurgen Klopp. Sort of instilling this confidence, this kind of level-headedness in these players. It's all down to Jurgen Klopp. This wouldn't happen with Paul Lambert as manager. It wouldn't. It's not Bobby Clark's a supremely talented kid. He is a supremely talented kid, and Jurgen Klopp is guiding this Liverpool side to win after win. It's Jurgen Klopp's genius. I know I bang on about Jurgen Klopp a lot, but the midfield that started, Nottingham Forest, who have been decent with Nunes, Brito, Santo, not amazing, but they've been decent. They've certainly been hard to play against in Steve Cooper's side. They got a midfield of Bobby Clark, Joe Gomez and McAllister, who I thought struggled today, McAllister at points. I know the ball in for Darwin Nunes was good, but he was struggling. There was no one to link up to. He was kind of spraying balls across into Luis Diaz a little bit and linking up with Harvey Elliott. I thought the front three today was really poor for Liverpool. I really did. And that's down to maybe a lack of energy. Luis Diaz seems to be playing every minute under the sun. Gakpo today is the one I'd be really, really critical of. And maybe I'm wrong, but you can let me know in the comments down below. He blew a few chances today. There was one in the 65th minute, I think it was, where he goes near post when he could have squared it into Darwin Nunes, who came on in the second half and changed things massively. His game has to improve massively, Cody Gakpo. He's not scored enough for me in the league this season. And there will be tougher tests than Nottingham Forest. The way they blew it in the last minute, you can sit there and say Nottingham Forest away is a hard ground to go to. I think it is. And you can say that this Liverpool side are fantastic for grinding out wins. But you will look at this Liverpool fixture list coming up, and there'll be far harder and sterner tests, including obviously the Man City game, which I'll be covering on the channel. So Cody Gakpo, if he starts that Man City game, which I think is unlikely based on how the squad's kind of being rotated for that game, he still has to do a lot more, in my opinion. His finishing has to be smarter. They can't waste as many chances and rely on the fact that Nottingham Forest, in my opinion, blew a few chances. Alanga in particular did as well. Morgan Gibbs-White. So Will the balloon burst by the time the end of the season rolls around? We don't know. The balloon might happen. The balloon might burst August when they've won the league title. That's just how it is, and Jurgen Klopp can depart in the sunset. But the way it's going at the moment, that was a scary, scary good win for Liverpool. Absolutely huge. Let me know what you think in the comments down below. They've nicked it last minute against Nottingham Forest. This Liverpool side are no joke. That is for sure. If you're new to the channel, make sure you subscribe. I'll see you very, very soon.